Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are around the globe. We are back on SpeedGaming 2 with the penultimate match of round 2 of the 2023 Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer Tournament, today featuring ttocsic 7 versus Snowbear 22. I'm Gillian Fletcher, one half of your commentator team for this match. Some of you may recognize me as a mod from various PSR streamer chats. And I am joined by the man who has several emotes in his honor for forgetting specific items, the Chicken Man himself, Mr. IB999. How's it going, IB?
Going good, yeah. Hopefully no one forgets items today. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that in tournament races. Only do that in casual races.
And it looks like we are off to the races here. Looks like the times are desynced a little bit, but no worries there. At the end, it doesn't really matter. All right.
It might get fixed by itself anyway. SpeedGaming might take care of that, but 2 seconds doesn't matter too much.
All right, so we'll see if Mom gives us fly here or something interesting for the first item. A dire hit. That is unfortunate. Not particularly useful there. So I will bring up one topic. Since we're in the early game and not a whole lot is going on. Well, actually, you know what? We'll wait for the starters first. And then, we'll bring up one.
Yeah, one of the most important things early on, especially, is finding a good Pokemon to run for the beginning. And so, if the starter's good, you take it. Otherwise, you'll look for something on 30 or...
Mr. Mime, Jolteon. And Jolteon, yeah, I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. And, of course, both competitors just taking the Jolteon. Very fast, very high special attack, very powerful. This could be their main for the rest of the run, if they so chose, and... maybe they can't get to early Kanto to get something good on Cycling Road. And getting Whirlpool from the aid.
Early Whirlpool, I mean, it doesn't do much. It's not the best of HMs because you can't really use that as a move. You want to see, like, Surf early because then you could just teach it to the Jolteon. But, I mean, hey, items are items.
Yeah, Whirlpool, not a great offensive item, but would be really funny if we got the Whirlpool badge here. And no, just an Ultra Ball, which is actually useful for catching here in the early game. Nice to have that early on.
Yeah, but apparently I didn't catch the moveset check, but apparently the Jolteon has Thunderbolt. So that's almost certainly going to be run for a while.
Yeah, well, remember what I said about they could potentially run this main for the whole time? Well, that just became a little bit more likely.
Yeah.
We're checking the first encounter here, getting a Gyarados. It's also not a
experience. Bad one. Now this is okay, Thunderbolt Psybeam. Oh, it looks like Snowbear is catching it. I honestly probably... Catching something just to have a Pokemon to revive, or, if you run into, like, something with Earthquake or something, is nice. But I honestly might have just one-shot that for the experience. Like
ttocsic finding it, an Articuno, yeah. Good experience, half a level there.
You got a full level there. He's level 6 now.
Oh, and getting the Pokegear, that is a required item for Go mode there, eventually.
Yep.
Not super useful in the near term. And Snowbear checking the hidden item and the berry tree, just for good measure.
Having a couple berries is not bad. I don't tend to get I don't tend to, and a lot of people don't tend to get the Poison Cure Berry, which is what that one is, but you'll see a lot of people pick up, like, one regular berry just to equip for a 10 HP heal mid-fight, or the Paralyzed Cure Berry, or sometimes even the Bitter Berry to cure confusion.
Getting that protein there from Oak was a nice little boost for money in the early game. That'll be helpful for a couple extra repels or escape ropes.
Yeah, just heading straight into the first fight.
And Golbat, I wonder how difficult that's going to be with a Thunderbolt Jolteon.
There's an Alakazam
and it's gone.
On ttocsic side.
Catching the Alakazam. Yeah, usually a pretty popular Mon. Has 4 appearances so far in this tournament as a main. Obviously not switching to it here, but always very strong.
I mean, hey, if it had, like, an amazing moveset, you probably would. But it's hard to beat the Jolteon at this moment. Stab Thunderbolt is amazing.
Right. Snowbear heading into Dark Cave now to grab the item out of logic, but never a bad option to get it. Unfortunately, just an Ultra Ball. Not going to be super useful for us here.
ttocsic just actually one-shotting the Arcanine with the extra experience that he got from KOing a few things.
And another Ultra Ball picking up off the ground there, the item. It's just giving us... It wants to make sure we have plenty of things to catch Pokemon with when we really don't need to at this point.
Yeah, somebody asking about how to get in to start playing these randomizers. Definitely check out the Discord. Everything you need to get this set up, and also there's some good guides and tips there. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing, check out the Discord, and there's a ton of people always willing to race as well.
Snowbear doing some early shopping, and looks like, yeah, heading for Sprout Tower. Not going to check the escape room first.
Yeah, order doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah,
if you have an escape rope early on, you can sometimes do the escape rope room before even shopping, just to get money.
And made the correct decision, because getting the squirt bottle now instead of maybe even just skipping tower altogether, which usually isn't a great idea, but hey, some players will do it. Getting the squirt bottle, that's going to give access to another main switch if they so desire, if the Sudowoodo is good enough.
Yeah, early squirt bottle makes things very interesting, because essentially early on you need to find either the pass or the squirt bottle to get out of that initial loop of Violet, Azalea, Goldenrod. But with the squirt bottle here, you could actually, like, you know, once you fight Falkner, you'll probably do that anyways. You can go straight to Ekritique if you want. You can go down to Goldenrod. You can go down to Azalea the normal way. It opens up a lot of options.
ttocsic instead decided to split route from Snowbear and head to the escape rope room, and unfortunately wasn't really rewarded for it. No key items there. The elixir kind of useful maybe later. Yeah, a little bit of money, but not particularly useful, unfortunately.
But yeah, so with the squirt bottle, the Sudowoodo is going to be a random level 20, which obviously you could switch to that, or you could, like, you know, a lot of other higher level Pokemon you could switch to. But with this Jolteon with Thunderbolt, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go the normal route more than anything else. But yeah, there's the squirt bottle for both of them now.
Oh, it's always kind of a fun, suspenseful waiting game to see what the pseudo is going to be, or what any of the statics are going to be, really. But yeah, as IB said, switching off of a Thunderbolt Jolteon, that's a tough sell. And seeing a Dodrio here on Elder, that thing not gonna stick around for the second turn.
Pretty easy Elder overall, pretty easy Tower overall.
Wow, getting the Fearow. Wow, that fight was made for Jolteon. There's no wiping here for sure. Getting the Storm Badge from the Elder. Now, both of them are probably going to get it, unless ttocsic, for some reason, meets an untimely demise here in the tower. Very unlikely, but that is a huge pickup in the early game. Now, obviously, we have no idea where Fly is, HMO2, but that is huge.
It's okay, it's okay. Fly will be on Falkner.
Fly will be on Falkner, exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, getting Fly is your pretty much #1 objective early on. The overall objective is to find all 16 badges and all 3 Pokegear parts, make it to West Kanto, talk to Professor Oak in Pallet Town, and that'll give you access to fighting Red, who is our ultimate goal. But having Fly just lets you, you know, well, fly places, and there are so many backtracking checks with, like, areas where you go to and then you pick up Surf later and then you have to go back. It just saves so much time being able to fly places.
And coming up to Falkner here, see if there's anything interesting here. Croconaw, that is not particularly concerning there for a Thunderbolt Jolteon.
Another Abra.
Wow.
Both of them defeating an Abra at the exact same time on different fights.
PP up. That's some useful money. And the machine part, that will be useful much later, but not particularly useful in the short term. Unfortunately, no HMO2.
Yeah, and ttocsic grabbing the Storm Badge. But yeah, this is where it gets interesting, seeing what people choose to do next. Snowbear still has to go do the escape rope chamber, but he's just going to check out the pseudo first.
It gets very interesting because obviously they both probably know they both have the Storm Badge. So that makes you play a little differently. And an Espeon on the pseudo.
You definitely catch this, and who knows, if you find the right moves, maybe you do switch.
And obviously we've only seen Feint Attack on it. We haven't seen the whole move set. It could have Psychic. You never know, chat. It has Sweet Scent. That's interesting. It's all right.
Nothing
Physical
great for
Espeon.
now. There's still the TMs and Goldenrod and anything we might pick up to check. But for now, I would stick with the Jolteon.
If one of the statics is another evolution, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, Eevee has blessed this run.
Yeah, someone said in chat, Jolteon's still better for now, but if we luck into a good TM, obviously that could change very quickly.
And Toxic finishing up with Faulkner, grabbing the machine part. Okay, it looks like Snowbear is heading... Oh, no, he just went back up that way.
Oh, he shop again?
To do some
Yeah.
more shopping, I see.
No, selling off some of the items. Yeah, go ahead and get them out of your inventory now for the extra money instead of having to throw them away later to pick up more items. Definitely a good call there.
He intentionally kept the... what do you call it? The PP up. Might want to like PP up Thunderbolt or something, since you just want to spam that.
And Toxic doing some PC healing over there, picking up the egg. Obviously, both of them picking up the egg from the aid here. Now, if the egg is an evolution as well. Oh, they're not going to keep the egg. Darn.
Would have been funny.
It's always a good meme. They're always just checking the egg just to see. Oh, and Snowbear backtracking. Oh, gotta check the berry. Maybe Snowbear just wants the berries. Maybe
the berry is nice to
confused.
have. If you get paralyzed, no. If you get paralyzed, it's nice to have a berry because you don't really have access to paralyzed heals as much right now.
And Toxic is just about to go, wow, okay. I can already hear his voice in my head now, seeing this Espeon on the pseudo. Definitely catching it as well. Definitely the smart play from both of them. Kind of be crazy not to.
And we will see what Toxic chooses to do, if he decides to also head south, or if he's going to maybe go towards Goldenrod or Ecruteak instead.
Getting the first check and getting the clear bell from the Old Rod fishing guru. That also could be useful later, but not so much in the short term.
And there's
getting fly. Wow. Oh my word. So 0 chance Toxic misses that.
Okay. Well, I mean, there is if he's going the other way around, but it looks like he is also going south. Yeah, it looks like he's going south. So, wow.
Oh,
so yeah, this is just an open seed for now. We've got got a lot, missing a lot of HMs, but we've got access to pretty much everything without HMs in Johto. Well, everything without HMs in Johto, but we can fly wherever we want, so this will be very interesting.
And Snowbear picking up HM05 Flash in the basement of Union there.
Toxic the clear bell, very close behind.
Yeah, no badge yet for Fly, but
no, for Flash, you mean?
Or Flash, excuse me. But yeah, at this point, we have a Jolteon with Thunderbolt, an Espeon pseudo. We have Fly completed early. I'm not sure how much better this early game can get IB. What could possibly even happen at this point?
I don't even know.
Like, I don't know, we pick up a Psychic TM, might be better.
Espeon, yeah.
Switch to the Espeon, yeah. Ice Beam TM, yeah, from chat there. That's probably like the only really good thing that can happen at this point. Picking up Surf obviously would be great to have for coverage. But yeah, this is about as good of a start as you can have.
Absolutely.
Short of having a Psychic Mewtwo or something just ludicrous.
But yeah, this is a scenario where you could skip Azalea, because you do have the ability to just fly back for it later, but you don't want to. You want to run the Jolteon. You want experience, and what better experience for your low level than Slowpoke well. Ooh, Snowbear getting hit by Dynamic Punch. Okay, Toxic is at least entering Ilex Forest. We'll see if he goes all the way past Azalea. There's the
Zephyr badge. So now Flash is viable.
Oh,
like now we can. Now Flash is in Logic. So obviously players have maps that they can use to get through Flash locations without actually needing Flash.
But yeah,
now Flash checks are in Logic.
Yeah, logic-wise, it'll never force you to do anything in the dark.
And picking up the Rainbow Wing, along with already having the Clear Bell.
I missed that. Was that an Ilex as well?
That was in Ilex. That was right before the headbutt check for Toxic. So that is a very interesting pickup.
Wow. But so with the Squirt Bottle and full Flash access, you can actually do the checks in Dark Cave now behind Rock Smash. But yeah, I mean, this is looking like it might just be a Rush Morty and do Tin Tower type of seed.
Which is very interesting because I asked both runners about this ahead of time. What would it take for you to do an early Morty and also an early E4? But Morty for right now, because Morty has been required in about 52% of all matches thus far. And Toxic said, I have no clue. Like, he plays completely on instinct. Snowbear said he'll sometimes do it for the mind games, for the memes, but obviously depends on the seed. And depending on the seed, this is.
Yeah, if there was ever a seed for it, it's this one right now. The thing is, though, those sages inside of Tin Tower blocking you from going in are level mid-30s, so you're gonna need some experience before doing that. So we might see Toxic, maybe try to catch a roamer, but that's unlikely. But most likely he's just gonna head back and do Slowpoke well just for the experience, if nothing else. Oh, fly, good.
Oh yeah, thank you, chat.
I knew I missed one thing.
All right, and now Snowbear going through Ilex doing the far-fetched puzzle, soon to also pick up the same items, getting the Zephyr badge there.
Yeah, but he'll get to check a few more things, and he'll be going back to do Bugsy as well, so we'll see if any of the items that Toxic has not gotten yet end up being required.
Toxic checking Goldenrod basement. Nothing interesting there. Lots of money from the basement.
Yeah. Very nice to see. Might be enough money to just buy all of your X items for the entire run now. Or at least a decent number of them. Okay, there's the Marsh badge.
Marsh badge.
So it looks like completing Slowpoke well is required. Again, it's not that big of a deal for Toxic because he does have, Fly. He can just head back whenever he wants.
Curious to see. Probably Toxic's going to check the TMs, which is probably a really good idea when you have both a Jolteon and an Espeon. Here we go.
That may lower special defense. That could be Psychic.
Wow.
That's either Psychic, Crunch, or Shadow Ball.
And also picking up Rock Smash as well.
And the Water Stone for the Water Stone Chamber. It's
Crunch.
Still
That's
good
still
for the Jolteon.
An excellent move.
But if that was Psychic, you would just immediately switch to the Espeon.
So that is great coverage, though.
Yeah. There was also Razor Leaf available on the Move Tutor. But yeah, I believe the Ledian, had Dig? Yeah, it does.
It does. And Zap Cannon.
Yeah, because I saw he sold was Escape Ropes. Okay, Snowbear is choosing to teach Razor Leaf from the Move Tutor. It is kind of useful for now because it lets you hit those rock ground types since we don't have Surf yet, but it gets outclassed by having Surf and you already have Thunderbolt for the water types.
Yeah, at this point, it is definitely a good option for coverage to be replaced probably in the future, but for the time being, very smart decision there. Snowbear heading into back. Bugsy.
Yep.
Toxic doing a lot of shopping here.
Like I said, with that much money, it might just be that's the last time you do a big shopping trip other than buying more Repel, maybe some Hyper Potions later.
See, Toxic grabbing Kenya here, which is going to be very easy to return since they have the Squirt Bottle and Fly.
Definitely a Vaporeon. Gotta be.
He's probably not going to check. Yeah, probably not going to check at this point, but would be kind of funny if he flashes it on screen just for the meme. All right, And Snowbear starting the fight against Bugsy to see what we get here.
Ooh, getting kinesis by the Arbok and missing lots of Psybeams, always annoying. Toxic picking up a Master Ball, that could come in handy if we main switch at any point.
A keyword if there, because ooh, I don't even do you even, like, let's say we get Kanto access very soon, do you even bother checking Cycling Road at this point, IB? If you
Cycling
were in their
Road,
position?
no. Okay, Bugsy has a badge as well, so 2 badges locked behind doing. Oh, and there's the plane badge.
Kenya
for
having
returning to
plane
Kenya.
badge, you get a badge, everyone gets a badge here. These early items are quite good.
But I don't think with this Jolteon, I don't think you switch on Cycling Road, not with North Johto available. But if you get Surf and Fog badge, those go up to level 39. So I think you, at this point, you would have to check that if we were to get both of them soon.
And actually, just to kind of bring up a point, because some people in chat are saying this is a very fast seed, which it is, at least so far.
So far, yeah.
Just as a reminder, the fastest time so far has been a little over an hour and a half, with the slowest time being slightly over 3 hours. And we are currently at 20 minutes with 4 badges, completed Fly, completed Flash, and a Thunderbolt Crunch.
We know the
Jolteon.
location of 5 badges, because they've got different ones.
So this very well could be. I guess it kind of depends on how much it forces us into Kanto versus how much we can just stay in Johto. Basically, how spread out does the seed become, and how early.
Overall, how the beginning of the game goes means absolutely nothing. This could still end up being a 2-hour seed or an hour and 20 minutes. Like it generally, if you get this many things early, you'll reach a point where you're just going to just do like 20 minutes worth of checks and get nothing because you got all the items front loaded.
It would be kind of ironic to have. Oh god. Yeah, it would be kind of funny, kind of ironic to have a seed like this and then end up having E4 required, which also has been required in about 15% of runs so far. And obviously, a lot of runners will put that off as long as possible for good reason. But I asked Snowbear about that earlier as well, and Snowbear said about 2 hours in for Snowbear, E4 starts to look interesting. And at this point, we might not even make 2 hours, but kind of an interesting threshold to kind of look out for there. And Toxic probably feels about the same way. If the seed isn't done or very obvious to finish around the 2 hour mark, you start to think, oh, do I YOLO E4 in the hopes that my opponent is not checking it, and then maybe they get lucky and get a badge and win that way.
Yep, definitely a valid play. I'm going to assume Snowbear bought Rock Smash. I just saw TMs being bought. I didn't see which ones. But, yeah, Toxic grabbed the Ekritique Fly Point and is now doing the contest stuff here. But, yeah, so Toxic, somebody was curious. So, Toxic has not done Slowpoke well yet or anything in Azalea, and both March Badge and Thunder Badge are beyond that. So, that is where those 2 badges are.
Unfortunately, having Fly, makes that a quick 5-second decision to go back and check. So, and he knows that. So he's just trying to check as much as possible. Toxic is very clearly trying to play optimal Crystal, do all of the quick checks, and avoid anything that takes more than a minute or 2.
But yeah, the seed very much so far pointing you towards Tin Tower, so I think it's really a question of who's going to do that first, but also who's going to have an easier time with it, because you don't want to do it too late. You don't want to do it too early because you'll struggle on the fights being low level, but you also don't want to do it too late because that's most likely the location of the progression.
And speaking of progression, Toxic going back for Slowpoke well, so he will find at least one of the badges coming up soon.
Most likely he'll do the full thing. I think this is the right call anyways, just because you do want that experience so that you can go do Tin Tower. I did notice that I think one of the TMs in Goldenrod, I don't think Toxic bought it, but Snowbear did, was an Explosion TM. So, not really going to be useful for Death Warping, since we already have full Fly and don't really need to Death Warp, but catch a level 50 and you have take out one Pokemon for free.
Yeah, there are definitely some pretty good meme strats. Maybe This is kind of a stretch at this point in the ROM, but even using Explosion on something like Red, if you get hard-walled on the first Mon, just...
Yeah, no, it's definitely reasonable. Like, if the level 50 is, like, an Ursa Rig or something, you teach that Explosion, and it will kill almost anything that's not a Rock, Steel, or Ghost type. With Explosion.
Man, that would be very funny if a seed like this ended up like that. Hopefully won't get to that desperate, to anything requiring that much desperation. But so far, they have really just not hit a wall at all. Nothing has been challenging in this siege so far for either runner. I'm kind of waiting to see if anything can go wrong at this point.
Never underestimate how bad things can get.
Everything is fine until it's not, as I always like to say.
Whitney giving us a second rod, so now we're up to the good rod. If we find the last fishing rod, it will be the super rod, and so that would be access to level 40s pretty early.
So
yeah,
actually,
Snowbear heading back up to do the stuff in National Park. Toxic finishing up the Azalea stuff. They're both just, covering their bases, things that they delayed. The other one did, but yeah, nothing new so far.
I do kind of find it interesting we're running, Jolteon from both of these competitors, and just looking at the stat sheet, we've only seen one Jolteon main so far in the tournament, and I'm not sure if the stats are correct or not, but it seems like it's a 0-0. It has a 100% loss technically. So seeing it now twice, kind of funny.
Yeah, but there's no. I mean, people have definitely used Jolteons before. It's just the question of, do you stick with it, or do we get
right,
full access to a level 50 soon? Do we get the 60 soon? That type of deal. There's the Marsh badge for Toxic. Ooh, Toxic fighting the right twin.
That's an interesting decision.
It'll have two different Pokemon compared to the left one, just because of the way the randomizer works. When you fight the twins, double battles don't really exist in this game, and so the trainer classes for the left versus right twin, like their trainer data is basically identical. It's just the order that they send out the Pokemon is switched. But because of the randomizer, those two datas get randomized separately, and so they'll just have completely different Pokemon. In this case,
Snowbear. Yeah, and Snowbear getting back, doing the Kenya check, getting that badge, and now looks like going into Dark Cave, doing some of the checks behind Rock Smash here.
Meanwhile, Toxic fighting Bugsy. Oh, is that true? I did not realize that the Dragon's Den twins were different. Oh wait, I believe I remember that. Yeah, they're supposed to have like two Dratini or something. I don't remember. But it's the same thing twice instead of being swapped or whatever, isn't it? But yeah, there is the Thunder badge for Toxic, and now they're all caught up.
Yeah, now we're all caught up. Everything's even. Obviously, things are going to start splitting a lot here, given that we have Fly and the Squirt Bottle. I'm actually curious. It looks like Snowbear. Okay, doing the Squirt Bottle check. Not useful there, Max Potion. And now it's about time we start pushing north into Ecruteak, and that's when things really start to diverge.
Yep, you can either go left towards Olivine, where you've got the lighthouse, 2 items in the city, but also, most importantly, you can buy super repels, which is really nice. And especially with Fly, that's most likely what they'll do, I would imagine, is just tag Olivine, buy super repels, and then head elsewhere. Or you can head east towards Mount Mortar and Mahogany.
Snowbear doing the check there south of Violet. Nothing useful, unfortunately, there. Yeah, at this point...
And, yeah, Snowbear's going to head to Ecruteak while Toxic takes on Whitney. But,
so the question is... Do we see the early Morty right now? Okay, we're checking the item finder first.
You kind of have to.
Do we see it? Oh, nope, going north. All right.
Which, yeah, you need to do Burnt Tower before
Burnt
you
Tower.
can do Morty. He's at least doing this. We'll see if he does Morty immediately afterwards.
Because it's safe to say,
smash,
without
right.
getting into too many spoilers about past matches, it's safe to say that the Morty and E4 checks have single-handedly decided at least a few races. So seeing an early Morty check at around 30 minutes is quite interesting compared to some of those previous matches.
It's just almost forced. Like, we don't have strength access for some extra items. We don't have surf access for, like, Rocket Hideout. We don't have Kanto access. There's just so much that we don't have. So it feels like the ROM is forcing you to do this. But yeah, so Toxic choosing to do kimonos. This is a reasonable play. Some Urgate mentioning this in chat as well. You want experience. The ROM is pushing you towards Tin Tower. The Sages have like level 30s and 32s. You need to be able to defeat those, and we're only level 21 right now.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and be quiet here because Snowbear is about to hear the roamers. All right, chat, figure them out. You know, I'm not an expert on cries, but I definitely didn't hear anything there that said, oh, switch to me. Or at least waste time switching to me because, you know, we do have the Jolteon.
Okay, Snowbear, after finishing Burnt Tower, heading towards Olivine. Lighthouse is another place that you can get some experience. Yeah, basically what you want to do right now is you want to get yourself up to a level where you feel confident that you can take out the Sages easily. That seems like what the ROM's directing you towards. Toxic choosing to do Kimono Girls for some experience. Meanwhile, Snowbear seems to be heading towards Olivine, most likely to do Lighthouse, I would imagine.
And Jolteon learning Zap Cannon on level up. That's what kind of rando there. Obviously did not cheat it, although that would have been quite the meme play there by Snowbear.
Very, very minor time save here from Snowbear. When you pass the Olivine gym, your rival pops out and talks to you, but with Fly, you can actually just fly past that trigger. Which will actually make things interesting later when we do some surfing towards Cyanwood, because not having triggered that makes some of the spinning swimmers turn into your rival sprite, so it'll look like he's just floating on water. But yeah, now Toxic heading over to Burnt Tower as well. We'll switch over the audio so we can hear the roamers one last time. Well, not last time, just another time. And yeah, Snowbear heading into Lighthouse as expected.
Oh, getting that phone call where everyone's like, wait, did the game just freeze on me? Oh no, it's just the bike shop. Yeah, none of those runners seem particularly appealing. That'd have to be a hard bargain to switch off of a good Jolteon, but
yeah.
Yeah, Snowbear continuing up the Lighthouse. Obviously, we don't have the secret potion yet, so we can't just do it all in one go, but quite a lot of items anyway in the Lighthouse.
Yeah, the only reason you could you could consider switching to the roamers just so that you could, you know, the Charizard is really the only one that would be runnable. Chat seems pretty sure that it's Charmeleon, Ariados, and Farfetch'd. The Charmeleon into Charizard would be pretty good just because you'd be able to do Tin Tower immediately. You wouldn't need to worry about the levels like I've been talking about so much, but it's too risky to go for it. It's not that likely that you get it unless you give it multiple save reset tries, and then you're wasting time. Yeah. But yeah, Toxic has decided to go straight to Morty. We'll see if what his decision is after this, if he's going to try and take on the sages immediately, or if he'll do something like Snowbear is and take on Lighthouse for some more experience first.
34-minute Morty. That is quite earlier than usual, and also, it's saying that Mewtwo in Morty's gym. That's kind of interesting.
And a Raikou on the other side. Ooh, the Mewtwo has
Mewtwo
Earthquake.
with Earthquake. Wow.
Scary.
Yeah, and Snowbear finishing up Lighthouse here. Hasn't found anything particularly useful yet, I don't believe. Just a couple of healing items, but so far not required. Oh,
Waterfall.
and I spoke too soon. Waterfall.
So, one interesting thing is whether or not he'll teach Waterfall. Waterfall's, what is it, 80 power? I don't remember. I think it's 80 power. Maybe
Strong.
70 power. But it's 70 or 80 power water move. Water is just a great move to have. But the problem is that if you teach Waterfall, then you won't be able to get rid of it until you get all the way to Blackthorn. And Surf, being 95 power, is always superior. Okay, it looks like he does just teach Waterfall to the Espeon. It actually makes Espeon a half-decent backup now. But, yeah.
Yeah, probably thinking that too, like, oh, well, instead of putting it on the lower level mon, yeah, put it on the Espeon. And Snowbear also going for early Morty. I wonder,
Again,
they probably both thought, yeah, that the other was going for early Morty at this point, given all of the items they do have.
It's like almost certainly required at this point. Like, if you look at like what other checks are available, given what we just saw Snowbear do, there's like 3 other items available.
And Toxic getting 2 max revives, I believe that was off of the Morty gym check.
Yeah, Morty's preparing you for Tin Tower. It's like, you're gonna wipe a lot in Tin Tower. It takes these revives.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
But yeah, I think there's only 3 items available that I can think of that haven't been checked yet that aren't Tin Tower. But there's 2 in Mount Mortar and then 1 on the way up towards Lake of Rage. So unless those 3 items are something magical, I'm pretty sure that gives us a forced Tin Tower, which makes sense with what we've got.
Snowbear barely living there on the Mewtwo with 7 HP. That Mewtwo with Earthquake.
Oh, right, it is 4. There's the 1 item outside of Mount Mortar as well. I miscounted.
Toxic finishing up all of the checks. We'll see if Toxic also does Lighthouse in Olivine here early. Gonna do actually a little bit more shopping.
But yeah, I think it's the correct call. You want as many levels as you can, like I've been saying a billion times. I know you guys are all bored of it by now, but this is pretty much all the experience that you can get up to this point without, well, fighting optionals or something. But yeah, level 28, 29, whatever they're gonna be is more than enough to deal with most things.
And does look like Toxic is going to do Lighthouse as you suggested. So going to get some experience there, going to get a couple good healing items, but ultimately, as we know right now, not required. Might be Jasmine, might be required, but as it stands right now,
well, there was
required.
Waterfall.
Oh, well, Waterfall, that is true.
Which
at the very last item, that's true.
Yeah. Waterfall will unlock a bunch of things later once we get Surf access and the Rising Badge.
Bear finishing up Morty, getting that double revive, probably having a bit of a chuckle to himself there if they noticed.
But yeah, this puts Snowbear slightly ahead, maybe a minute and a half ahead of Toxics. Maybe more like 2 minutes.
And it does look like we're heading for Tin Tower with Snowbear.
It's about all you can do. Saving in front of the Sages.
Actually, we haven't checked the item just east of Eckertique, have we? Just outside of
no one's
just outside
the
cave?
That's what I was saying. There are 4 items available if you go east of Eckertique, but it seems unlikely that those 4 items would give you some way of avoiding Tin. Not
Getting
a good
double-edged.
start.
Yeah, luckily we have, at least at the very worst, we do have that Espeon in the back with Waterfall.
Yeah, Wigglytuff's not necessarily, like, the strongest Pokemon, but Stab Double Edge will do a lot, no matter what it's from. There's 1 Sage down.
one stage down, one revive.
I will be interested to see if Toxic does check or teach Waterfall. Oh yeah, that is a good point. Snowbear has not done the Kimono Girls. That's the main difference right here.
Cubone e-speeding the Jolteon there, taking it out. That's rather unfortunate. Not many things that can outspeed a Jolteon. E-speed is one of them.
Yeah, making good use of those max revives Morty gave us to prepare.
I was getting dig as well. Just kind of unfortunate there. That's living on one. That's actually kind of not what you wanted, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a max time loss there for Snowbear on this fight, unfortunately.
You don't have anything amazing to deal with this Flaffy here.
At this point, yeah, going for the X defend just in case.
And Dig just wasting
didn't do a lot of damage.
Time.
There we go. Now the Flaffy, the menace, is finally down.
And Toxic is now on his way to Tin. Right behind Snowbear. Oh, he's not on his way to Tin. Toxic is choosing to head east first. We'll get to see what these items are.
See if he's going, yep, he is going full east. Okay, I didn't know if he was just going to stop and check that one item, but yeah, it does make sense. If you're going to commit east, just go ahead and check all of them.
Yep, that was a good call. Waterfall on Toxic side. There's a Fable. The Jolteon poisoned. Sending out the Espeon again. I think this is... Okay, we've got 3 regular revives and a max revive remaining, it looks like.
Nothing interesting so far for Toxic's end.
If he finds Rising, it would do absolutely nothing, because we do not have access to Surf yet. Can't get on a Waterfall without being able to first use Surf. Going north towards the lake. Obviously, we have no parts of cut yet, so we can't get all of the items up there. Grabbing the Silver Wing, useful for grabbing the Static once we unlock Surf and finish unlocking Whirlpool, but not useful for the time being. Here is the Farfetch'd.
So chat, you did indeed get it right.
But yeah, Toxic healing using an elixir. Looking like he's going to go do Tin now. Yeah, that's officially... I think that officially puts Morty being 100% required this seed, because we've checked every item outside of Tin Tower, which means the progression is guaranteed to be here. There's the Secret Potion.
Secret Potion.
So now
that's kind of unfortunate.
Tower,
yeah, kind of unfortunate we get the Secret Potion now after just having finished Lighthouse, but hey, that's just how it goes sometimes.
It saves time in the long run. The levels you got from Lighthouse make Tin Tower significantly easier. But yeah, now we get to go climb all the way back up the Lighthouse again and then fight Jasmine.
And getting the Fog Badge in 10, so 10 now very appealing, if nothing else, for, well, actually, I'm trying to think.
Once again, it literally is required.
Yeah, it's required, but yeah, I'm thinking now, does that make you play any differently at this point? Because obviously we don't have Surf yet.
I mean, there's not much you can do right now other than just go through all of 10 and see what you're given, and then you make your decisions based off of that, right? Like, this might be it. It might be Surf on Jasmine, and that's the one wall, and this is all you're getting from 10, but you gotta go all the way through here and see what options you're given. Maybe you get the pass of the ticket. Maybe you get full Surf. Maybe you get Surf and Strength, you know? Maybe you get... I don't know what else. Maybe you get Whirlpool. Meaning Glacier Badge. There's the basement
Grabbing the basement key.
So that's actually really interesting, because they have 6 badges. So the way basement works is the rockets do not spawn down there unless you have 7 badges, which means that you can enter with less than 7 badges, fight your rival, and pick up all the items except for the final one without doing any of the rockets. But once you do get that 7th badge, it's not an option anymore, and then you'll have to defeat the card key section in Radio Tower with the card key to despawn those rockets. You'll never be forced to do the 9 extra fights. The card key will always be available somewhere.
And a Miltank as the Ho. That's not a bad mon, but when you have a Thunderbolt Jolteon, not really worthwhile there. Yeah, curious to see. All right, flying back to Ekrutik here. All right, and Snowbear also deciding to head east to Route 42 in Mortar here.
But with nothing else there, I think that means Jasmine is required. But yeah, Toxic's struggling on the Rhydon. Again, that's where teaching... Toxic doesn't have Razor Leaf from the Move Tutor or Waterfall from the, the HM, which if you had taught that Rhydon would have been much, much simpler. He's kept Dynamic Punch around, maybe for dealing with a Blissey if he sees one.
Yeah, because at this point, we are Surf locked to the west. We don't have Kanto access. We're Strength locked to the east, and we don't have Cut for Lake. So, yeah, things are narrowing down quite a bit at this point.
Yeah. The only items available in Logic are the 2 items on Jasmine herself, and beyond that, you could, again, try and do early basement right now if you want, but that isn't in Logic, so there has to be something on Jasmine. Because, once again, the ROM will not force you to do the 9 extra fights in basement, so it'll always give you the card key first. Okay, Snowbear heading to do kimonos. This is going to be good for Toxic to make up that a little bit of time that he was behind. Since Toxic did do this, and we know it wasn't required.
I'll let Toxic finish 10 tower here, and I'm really curious to see where Toxic decides to go next as well.
Yeah, it's really a question of will either of them attempt to do early basement.
And there's the Fog Badge for Toxic, so... Yeah, now Toxic's definitely thinking, 6 badges. Toxic doesn't have the basement key yet, although he's about to get it.
No, he does. But, that was first, actually. It didn't work when I clicked it.
It didn't work.
He does have
there
it.
We go.
Or actually, no, you were right. No. It was the secret potion? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure he has it.
Yeah, hard to keep track. Hard to keep track of two things going on. I'm sure everyone can understand.
Yeah, Rival is similar level to the Sages. I think his ace is like up to level 34, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, the basement Rival is definitely not impossible, especially with a Thunderbolt Jolteon. Like if the Sages are possible, Rival is possible.
I forget what starter did we give the Rival? Because I don't think it was anything to worry about.
Right, which was Jolteon. I don't remember what was on the left actually.
Yeah, but I don't think it was anything worrisome. I think it was a Persian, the Jolteon, and then something else.
Vulpix might have been someone saying. Oh no, it was Mime. Right. It was Mime. The first one was Mime, so yeah, their rival has Mr. Mime, which I think we have seen actually has Psychic, so not the most pushover.
Right. And Snowbear obviously going back up Lighthouse, gonna do Jasmine next. No surprises there after what we've been saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to see if Toxic does the same, or if he tries to do out of Logic early basement first. I think that'll be it. Oh, he has flown to Goldenrod.
Yep. All right, so we do get a little bit of a divergence here. Yep. So one of these players might be at about a five minute delay here if one of them is completely useless and one of them is required.
Yeah, honestly, it's a risk for Toxic because there's always the possibility that like card key isn't available anywhere. It's like stuck in silver or something, and in that case, nothing in the basement is actually going to matter. But it seems unlikely at this point with so little being available. But we will see. But yeah, no matter what you choose to do here, this ROM has been forcing you into some difficult fights. You're forced to do the Sages early, you're forced to do either you're forced to do Jasmine early, logically. You might be forced to do this basement rival. It's not that big of a deal because we've got a good main, but if they had struggled to find mains early on, this could have been very, very, very bad.
Yeah, we did get extremely lucky having the Jolteon with the starter with Thunderbolt, and then also having the Espeon. But yeah, without those two things, I'm trying to think. Like, we don't have the Pokedex, so we can't do meme check Mewtwo, because we did see that at least once.
The Soul Badge.
Jasmine having the Soul Badge, so Jasmine is required. And unsurprisingly. Wow.
It would have been funny if all she gave was the soul badge, because that would have meant that you'd have to go to False Director next.
Yeah, so now we not only have a good move for the Jolteon, but now Cyanwood is in play.
Yeah, now there's a lot that's in play. There's one item only right now in Cyanwood, but Rising Badge or Glacier Badge would give us access to the waterfall section of Mortar and Whirl Islands, respectively. We have access to all of Rocket Hideout. There's like a ton of backup checks. There's quite a few things.
A Donphan? It is a shiny Donphan there at the lake. Snowbear deciding to go check the shiny and probably going to return to Red Scale afterwards since we do have Fly, but we will see.
We have the Red Scale.
Oh, right. I'm
there's
brain thinking vanilla for some reason. Well, it was required at the very least, so hey, there you go.
But yeah, I don't believe Toxic got anything of those first two items in basement. We'll see what else he gets.
And brain went into bingo mode there for a second on the on the Red Scale check.
Okay, Snowbear just heading straight to Rocket Hideout, not choosing to go use Waterfall. Nothing in the basement for Toxic. So we'll see if that backfires later or if Snowbear will end up checking that at some point as well. Toxic flying to Azalea, I think he might have forgotten that he doesn't have Surf. Because, you know, you might want to fly to Azalea. Yeah, you fly to Azalea to check the Ho-Oh room, or even the Flash Chamber, or both. But he doesn't have Surf yet. He has to go beat Jasmine first.
Yeah, now Toxic going to do exactly that. Going to return the Secret Potion, get that Soul Badge from Jasmine, and then we'll see what he decides to do. See if he decides to go to the lake or if he decides to go west to Cyanwood.
Cyanwood, there's no reason to right now. There's only one item there. You don't want to do that until you have either Whirl Islands access or at least full strength access. Because all that's there right now is the pharmacy item, and that's it. I think the right play is to probably go to Lake of Rage, but then you might change your mind after seeing the Rising Badge. You might also just go do some backtracking checks first. Those are really the main two options. Either go back and, you know, check the Surf and Cherry Grove, the 2 by Tojo Falls, the 2 in Violet, the 1 below, and maybe even Soft Sand and near Goldenrod, or just go straight to Rocket Hideout.
Yeah, actually, I just kind of put 2 and 2 together here. We do have full Surf. We do have full. Let's see. Waterfall. We do have full Whirlpool.
No, we don't have full Whirlpool yet. We need Glacier.
Oh, never mind. That is, yeah, getting those backwards there, unfortunately. Yeah, so can't quite, because I was just thinking we do have the Silver Wing.
Yes, we are the Glacier Badge away from the 60, whatever that may be. There is Soul Badge and Surf for Toxic. That's also Surf for the Jolteon, which is always a nice get.
See. See where Toxic decides to fly here, and obviously, yeah, going for the lake, pick up that Rising Badge.
What I would like to see, what I would probably do is after getting the Rising Badges, I would head straight to Mortar, because you've got so many items. There's 5 items in the Surf Loop, and then there's like all the items in the Waterfall section, and the 4 items that are locked behind Strength, but you can get to them from the other side with Waterfall. It's a lot of items to do, and you might be able to put off doing Rocket Hideout for a little while. Yeah, no, this is definitely just a personal thing. I like to avoid Rocket Hideout as much as I possibly can, for as late as I possibly can. We know that like the ERC skip, where you pick up all the easy items and then skip fighting the password trainers, doesn't have a very good record in the tournament so far. But so if I enter it, I'll do all of it, but I like to avoid entering it.
I mean, I thought you disliked the Mahogany Rockets because of Lance up at Lake of Rage.
But yeah, so Snowbear not ERC skipping is fighting the password trainers. Picked up a Fire Punch TM, but Toxic has done what I would do and is choosing to go check Mortar first and see if maybe we get like the Glacier Badge here. There's strength in Mount Mortar.
So now strength unlocked. Now
you can go
let's see.
to Blackthorn.
Ice Bath. Oh, and picking up a Psychic TM.
Wow. If we'd gotten that a little bit earlier, we'd be running an Espeon right now.
Like at this point, do you even teach Psychic? Like we have Crunch, Thunderbolt, Surf, and Crunch, whatever the other team was. That's a tough call. Or do you save it with the potential for maybe
you probably
for some reason swapping to something else?
You probably save it. Psychic's not like amazing coverage. It's just like okay as coverage. It's just really good if you have Stab on it, but like we have Stab Thunderbolt to cover things. But yeah, I guess for now, Psychic with what Toxic has, it's okay. But Snowbear picked up Fire Punch. If I had both, I'd probably teach Fire Punch. I feel like that hits more of what you want to hit. But I mean, yeah, we're definitely not. We're a bit spoiled on the good special moves so far.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you have a seed where the main and the moves are kind of not something you have to worry about, and you can only worry about the logic and the actual movement and gameplay itself. It's definitely a lot harder when you also have to add main searching in the midst of that.
Yeah, like I said, if this ROM had not had any really good mains available, we might not even be done with Tin Tower right now if we were struggling on fights enough.
Yeah, compounded by the fact we still don't have Kanto access yet for easy access to another main. We do have the Good Rod, which is better than nothing, I suppose, but...
But... yeah, this is a good point brought up, actually, by chat, is oftentimes you do Rocket Hideout before Mount Mortar here, because they're level up to 32 or 33 in this waterfall back room section, and a lot of the time you can't repel them immediately, but because of everything that we've been forced to do so far, we absolutely can repel all of them, and so there's no issue. But yeah, with strength access for Toxic, he now has the option to put off Rocket Hideout even longer if he wants to and head towards Blackthorn. There's the red scale on Snowbear's side.
See if we decide to early check that or do something else here. Because it is a little out of the way to early check it. But
I mean, you've got the item, the Surf item in Cherry Grove to check at some point anyway, so now you can combo those two together, which is nice.
That is very true.
But unless either the red scale or price gives an item, I believe that Rocket Hideout might not be required. I don't think there were any key items in there as of yet.
And Snowbear deciding to go for price instead here.
Yeah, you probably, it's probably going to be like you do price into just heading straight towards Mortar, which, as Toxic just did. Okay, Toxic now flying back to Azalea. Now that he's got Strength, he can do a lot of things. You've got 2 items in Slowpoke Well that are Strength Surf locked. Oh, Toxic does have Rising. I don't know how I keep missing random things. Thank you for calling it out. But yeah, we've got 2 items in Slowpoke Well. We've got 2 items in the Basement of Union. We've got 12 items, because we've got all 3 remaining chambers to check, because we have done the Ho-Oh, we have Strength and Waterstone, and we have Full Flash. What else? We've got 2 Surf items in Violet. There's a lot of stuff to do here.
Snowbear finishing up price there, and unfortunately does not look required there, so
yeah,
a bit of a waste of time there.
It's all down to the red scale on whether or not Rocket Hideout is completely avoidable. But yeah, he is heading towards Mortar. Definitely the right call. I mean, at this point I think it's you kind of have to. You don't have it's either this or all the backtrack checks. But again, there's just so many items concentrated in Mortar.
Toxic picking up the mystery egg there.
Switch the audio over to Toxic for now.
Yeah, and Snowbear there picking up strength. So now many options in play also for Snowbear, definitely running through his brain now.
But yeah.
I know you're not guaranteed to get Kanto access by 1 hour, but I am a little surprised that we don't have anything for Kanto.
It's not that unreasonable. There's so many things in Johto that, like, it's more rare to get Kanto access and then not get North Johto access, because a lot of the checks in the game are just concentrated in North Johto. But there are so many more unlocks we can get. Like, we can still find, Glacier Badge somewhere and then have even more things to do in Johto.
Yeah, I guess the nice thing about not having Kanto access is you get pretty much all of the utility items in Johto, which then gives you a much easier time once you do get to Kanto.
Yeah, there's a Sacred Fire TM. Not a bad move.
A lot of TMs. Full of TMs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, Sacred Fire being the only one situationally useful there, but...
I mean, it's good as just coverage. It's 95, or what? No, it's 100 power, I think. 95 accuracy, and 50% burn. Like, it's just good for coverage in case you need to burn something. Might be better than Fire Punch on this moveset, since you want to be spamming Thunderbolt anyways, but also Toxic doesn't have Fire Punch yet.
Yeah, and Toxic checking the Ho-Oh chamber here. 4th item, nope, just a revive. Nothing useful, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we've done Ho-Oh chamber, Waterstone chamber, and now we've got the Flash chamber. Meanwhile, Snowbear going through Mount Mortar. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Toxic does next after this.
Max Ether, Max Elixir, okay.
Smudge.
The 4th item, Ultra Ball. Unfortunate. None of those being particularly useful there.
Toxic flying to Mahogany, so he's got 2 choices from here, either Rocket Hideout or heading to Blackthorn. We'll see which one. He is heading to Blackthorn, so still avoiding Rocket Hideout for now, which, again, we do know that Rocket Hideout... Well, actually, we don't know. Still need the red scale check on Snowbear's side, but it seems pretty likely that Rocket Hideout might just be entirely unrequired.
Unfortunately, Toxic not picking up particularly anything useful on his way to Ice Path, but a couple checks still here in Ice Path to go before we get to Blackthorn.
Yep. We've got a bunch of stuff in Ice Path to check. We've got some items in Dark Cave to check once we get to Blackthorn, and then we've got Rep 45. And so how many badges do we have? 2, 4, 6. We do have 8 badges. So with Waterfall access and 8 badges, you can also head over Tojo and go straight up to Victory Road. Is also a decent option.
Yeah, just like you said, I am really curious if Snowbear... Yeah, escape rope out of here, maybe going to check. Maybe going to check that red scale.
Yeah, Hideout, Rocket Hideout it's a very high concentration location. There's a lot of items there. You generally reach a point where you're like, okay, I should go do this now. But if you find enough unlocks and if you keep having more and more things put in front of you able to do, you could avoid it for a while.
And Toxic finally picking up the SS ticket there and Rock Path as Snowbear also heads towards or Ice Path. So very required there for Ice Path. But now we finally have Kanto access, which kind of blows open the door for what's possible here.
Hideout and Mahogany Rockets are the same thing. It's just, different people calling it different things. I just call it Rocket Hideout because, they're hiding there. But yeah, it's the Mahogany Rockets is what we're talking about. But yeah, so now we have Kanto access. Now we can head all the way up towards Victory Road, as I mentioned. We've got some more stuff to do here. A lot of options. But yeah, still definitely looking for the Glacier Badge for Whirl Island.
Yeah, for Whirlpool, yeah.
This is looking, at least so far, obviously, too early to tell, but it could be a, either Cutlass or at the very least you might need to enter West Kanto using Waterfall here. We're only one piece off of West Kanto access.
Yeah, that is true. I just now kind of realized that. Yeah, no cut, no hive badge. That is...
Yep, but once you wake up the Snorlax, the guard on the right side of Victory Road, the entrance to Victory Road disappears, and you can enter from that side instead of the normal cut your way towards Pewter.
All right, and Snowbear also picking up the SS ticket and the radio card. So now both runners realize the world is my oyster now. They can pretty much access almost anything at this point.
Yeah, for now, Toxic has the advantage until he goes back and does Rocket Hideout. If he's able to avoid that completely, he's definitely in the driver's seat, but if he ever goes back and does the whole thing, then Snowbear makes up all the time that he's behind. Which isn't that much time, for the record.
Yeah, this is a very close race for an hour and 5 minutes in. I mean, they're practically following in the footsteps of each other. And Toxic picking up the Rainbow Badge south of Blackthorn there.
Very bad at marking. I keep marking the items for the wrong person.
Yeah, so not a useful badge in terms of utility, but ultimately still a badge and still required. And Toxic also heading to check the Mystic Water item here in Cherry Grove. Couldn't see what it was, but it wasn't important apparently.
Snowbear did do the entire Rocket Hideout section. Thought Price did all of that, just didn't get any items from it. The only item he got from the entire thing was the red scale, which I don't think we've seen checked. Might be required.
And Toxic picking up the Boulder Badge and one of the Surf checks in Violet. Looks like he's just going to go through and just clean up a couple of leftover easy checks here, but picking up the Boulder Badge, quite a big pickup.
The red R on the trackers usually refers to completing Radio Tower rather than the Mahogany Rockets, because completing the Radio Tower with the card key gives you access to, it despawns the rockets in the basement, and it also allows you to enter Claire's gym. So that is what that red R that is not lit up. But we don't have the card key yet, so they can't really do that.
Yeah, and Toxic heading back to Burn Tower for the strength check there. Yeah, it looks like he's just on a mission right now to do all of the easier checks. And picking up the Glacier Badge, Whirl is on the menu.
Yeah, it was kind of a question of what you do next, but now I think it's very much Whirl Islands.
Yeah, Whirl and Signwood now. Signwood, since we have strength, can do Chuck's gym.
Yeah, and if this keeps up, then we are getting close to a point where you might end up being able to skip all of Rocket Hideout. If you just keep getting badges from easy locations like this, then you have no reason to really want to go to Rocket Hideout yet.
And chat rooting for the Johto only seed here, which, while highly unlikely, is technically possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and there you see some of those floating rivals because we skipped that trigger in front of the Olivine gym. But yeah, we'll see if Toxic checks the Lugia. I believe they both have a Master Ball, so I wouldn't be surprised if he checks the Lugia, the level 60 for backup.
And picking up the lost item there.
Yep, looks like Toxic is heading down to check the level 60. Any quick guesses on what that's going to be? Anybody?
It's an evolution.
Gotta be an evolution.
That didn't sound like an evolution.
It's an Elekid. Electabuzz isn't bad. It's 25, 26 levels higher than you right now. If it's got a moveset, you could switch to that.
Yeah, and we still do have the... Actually, I think he still has the Psychic TM as well.
Yep.
See if he decides to...
Yeah, he's checking it. Thunder Punch.
Wow. Yeah.
I'd run that. Yeah.
Yep, and it does look like he's swapping to it. Yeah, I'm giving it the rare candy. Gonna get that Electabuzz.
Yeah, that many levels. I mean, you've still got Stab Electric move, you got Stab Thunder Punch, you can teach it Surf, you can teach it Psychic. Crunch was buyable. Razor Leaf on the move tutor. There's a full move set available. Oh, also Sacred Fire.
Yeah, Psychic, Sacred Fire, Icy Wind probably, and Thunder Punch. Quite the move set there.
Snowbear grabbing the Mystery Egg. Where is this? There it is. And Snowbear gonna head and check all of the chambers as well.
And I don't think there was anything required in any of the chambers, was there? It was mostly
nope,
useless items. Yeah, so a little bit of a time save there for Toxic.
Yeah, having checked the Lugia, the level 60, now we get to go to the other half of Whirl Islands, which is where the majority of the items are. We will see what we get down here. The volcano badge.
The volcano badge. Another
just keep showing up. And the hive badge.
And the hive badge. Wow. Okay, I was about to say another badge with no utility, but never mind. Having the hive badge, still no cut though.
Yeah, but we're 3 badges from done now, and the expansion card. Can't forget the expansion card.
And we still haven't been to Kanto.
Nope. And the mineral badge.
Chat, we have a race here. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. We're 2 badges from Go Mode. We have a level 61 main.
Don't forget the expansion card.
And the expansion card. That is true. That is true. But we are still 2 badges from done.
But again, that last badge could just be on E4 and we could be here for another hour before we're done. Hard to say.
Yeah, obviously we have a somewhat small sample size with the number of tournament matches that have been played so far, but 15% requirement for the E4 so far.
The pass as well in Whirl Islands if you want to take the train instead of the boat. The boat does have 1 check on it, but it also takes a little bit longer, so...
Yeah, even more enticing though, the ROM saying, you want to go to Kanto, here, let me help, and giving us the pass in addition to already having the SS ticket, but not going to take the bait yet, going to finish out on Toxic's end, going to finish out Signwood here. Check Chuck. And check the Shucky trainer, or not the Shucky trainer.
Might not even necessarily
Secret Potion guy.
Chuck, yeah, I mean, you don't have to do Chuck at this point. You fly back whenever you want, but you've still got a lot to do in Kanto and other places. We got the Boulder badge for Snowbear. Toxic heading down to check this one item. Possibly gonna check Soft Sand Girls?
Nope.
No Soft Sand Girls yet.
Yeah, Toxic is playing super optimal right now. No Soft Sand check, no Chuck check. Anything that takes more than a minute, he is just not about it right now.
Okay, and he's choosing to use the pass to head over to Kanto.
Curious to see what he decides to do first in Kanto. Kanto is pretty much almost fully open at this point, so lots of options here. Actually curious, do we see an early Sabrina? No, unfortunately not.
Nah.
Okay, checking the lost item first.
Why would you? Hypnosis? Hypnosis seems really nice.
Yeah, very, very high utility potentially for the red fight if necessary.
But as a meme, I'm being told this ROM, a lot of the trainers have their trainer class as either Snowbear ROM or Toxic ROM.
I have seen Snowbear's name.
Yeah, the trainer list was modified to remove a lot of the other ones for these two. Snowbear and Toxic are a little bit notorious right now for making some of the worst seeds imaginable. So you can pay attention. Oh, we are going to see Sabrina.
Okay,
while Snowbear does Soft Sand Girls.
Very interesting divergence there, doing 2 kind of checks unusually early.
Okay, yeah. So all of the 10 and 11 character classes are gone.
But fortunately for Toxic's end, having Mewtwo on Sabrina with Earthquake still.
I mean, hey, it is a Psychic type.
Wow, that's a powerful Sabrina. Magmar, Mewtwo, and then I already forgot what the first one was, but very powerful Sabrina though. Unfortunately, not required.
Morty has already been extremely required. The progress was all in Tin Tower. Yes, you can thank Jarvis for the Snowbear Toxic ROM meme.
This one, yeah, checking this Mr. Psychic TM. Not useful at this point for Toxic. You know, if you were in Toxic's position, IB, what are you doing next? What are you thinking at this point? You have all of Kanto, you have 2 badges, and technically the expansion card to go. What are your options here?
I'm going to Victory Road. Is what I would do. Do all the easy stuff in Canada and go to Victory Road. Also, Soft Sand Girls not required. But yeah, I mean, what I would do is I would just go to I would do like, maybe a couple more easy remaining checks, like, there's one or two over towards Lavender. Maybe you do Rock Tunnel, but then I would go back to Newbark and head towards Victory Road.
Yeah, and Snowbear picking up the Glacier badge there, so now Whirl in play for him. Toxic heading over to Lavender. Looks like, gonna do...
Oh, they have the machine
reverse,
part. Yeah, you definitely do this then.
Yeah, reverse Rock Tunnel to take the machine part to the power plant. A little bit out of the way, but could very easily be a big time save.
Yeah, unlocks a few more items as well. But yeah, I think this really comes down to, at least for now, the biggest question is when, if ever, does Toxic go back and do the Mahogany Rocket Hideout? If all the badges keep showing up and the expansion card, if these last two badges show up soon, then he might be able to skip that, and that would probably just be enough to give him the win. But if they don't show up, then wow, Ice Punch.
Wow. These moves, man. This ROM, the mains and the moves. I'm a little worried at this point. We're running through all of our main and move luck. We have a match coming up in a couple of hours as well. At this point, they're going to get all of the really bad mains and the bad moves.
It's okay, because a different person... Because I think Snowbear makes most of the ROMs for the tournaments, or generates them at least, using the bot or whatever. But all the ROMs are generated by Snowbear, except for the ones that, he plays in. So obviously he didn't make this one, so he's got the main luck for... Well, Snowbear ROMs are always bad anyways, so...
Yeah, Toxic picking up the card key there in Rock Tunnel, and Snowbear picking up the Elekid, the Static Lugia, and Whirl Islands there. See if you're going to switch to it as well.
Yeah, so card
seeing that move
interesting. There's the Earth badge. One badge, one radio card part. Or expansion card, I should say.
An hour and 16 minutes in, chat.
Yep.
He's
is teaching hypnosis already.
Wow, yeah. I mean, of course, teaching over the Icy Wind, a little bit of utility there on Icy Wind and coverage, but when you have Ice Punch, there's just no point. Teaching over Psychic, interesting choice there. Obviously, the Electric and Ice Punch moves giving him perfect coverage.
Except for Magneton, but Surf hits that. But yeah, Ice Electric, Bolt Beam hits everything other than Magneton Magnemite.
Yeah, you're in a crazy position if you're teaching over Psychic on your special attacker.
Right. It means you've got a lot of moves to choose from. But yeah, so Card Key unlocks, doing the rest of Rocket Hideout. Radio Tower, the Rockets in Radio Tower. There are a few items in there. It unlocks Claire, and it unlocks the last item in the basement that we haven't seen. Toxic's going to be a little bit disincentivized to do that because he has done early basement already, meaning that he doesn't really need to like do all of that just so that he can get the basement items. So if there is something in there, he might fall a little behind on delaying that.
Yeah, Snowbear picking up the Hive and the Volcano. Now, if I was in Snowbear's position, I don't know, because obviously everyone is their own worst critic. They think, oh, I'm behind, and also picking up the mineral badge there. Everyone's their own worst critic. They're always thinking, oh, I'm probably behind at this point in many cases. But at this point, if you're Snowbear, you're seeing all these badges. You see 2 badges and expansion to go. If you think you're behind, do we maybe see Snowbear play a little more risky at this point, or...
I don't know. I don't know if you feel behind at this point. It's hard to... Oh, and Toxic is heading over to Rocket Hideout.
Well, speaking of being behind, that gap is about to close a little bit further now.
This is going to make up a lot of time. We'll see who ends up ahead after all of this. If maybe Toxic has made up some time here, or not.
Yeah, that's one question I'll probably have to ask Snowbear there at the end. Like, what were your thoughts when you picked up the 3 badges there in Whirl? Did you feel behind?
I can't imagine that either of them feel ahead or behind, because just think about it. At this point, we've just gotten Kanto access. At this point, it's been pretty straightforward. I don't think any of them. I think it's kind of forced you into everything. You were forced to do like everything and then Tin Tower. You were forced to just, then do not necessarily. You were not forced to do Rocket Hideout, but now we know they both did it. You're forced to do the waterfall section and mortar. You're forced to do a lot of this stuff. So it's hard to say if you can even really feel behind. There hasn't been too many choices to make.
Oh, Snowbear heading in for Chuck after grabbing the blue card there in Cyanwood.
Yeah.
So...
And yeah, the red scale was checked. There was nothing, so Rocket Hideout in Mahogany is completely not required. All of this is bait.
Yeah, Snowbear may be thinking maybe Toxic... if Toxic was here, probably skipped Chuck, so I'm going to do it instead.
Yeah,
might be the mentality here.
But yeah, for both of these runners, what they want to see is expansion card as their last item, rather than a badge. Because if you get expansion card as your last item, then you're in go mode, you just head straight to Professor Oak. But if we get expansion card like right here from Chuck, then Snowbear will have to go do a lot of stuff in West Kanto, possibly. And see that might not be required, might waste a bit of time. But I'm actually pretty surprised that neither of them have gone towards Victory Road yet at this point. Because they do have full waterfall. Maybe they're hoping to get expansion card and go that way, but I would have liked to see Toxic do that before Rockets, but again, I just don't like Rockets. Unless I have to.
Yeah, from Toxic's perspective, again, he's two items from go mode. It's like...
It's very likely that one of them is down here.
Yeah, it's very possible as well. Toxic thinks he's behind and is thinking, oh, I should probably do, maybe do a longer check in the hope that Snowbear skipped it. You're your own worst enemy in these situations, especially in a situation like this where it's a blazingly fast seed thus far.
You
have two items to go.
You're worried that your opponent has done everything that you've done, but also picked up the one thing from Rocket Hideout that you skipped, and so... Oh, there's the Cascade badge on Chuck's wife.
Snowbear making the right call, whether it was thinking Toxic may have skipped it or not, doesn't matter. Doing Chuck, getting the Cascade. Technically, Snowbear still needs the Earth badge as well, but we just need the expansion card now. For no mode.
Yeah, and so if he finds the Earth badge before expansion card, then he's in a great spot. Snowbear choosing to take the boat to go to Kanto rather than the pass. You do get one item check here on the boat.
And will be a new item check from our perspective, so we will have to see. That may just be the lucky play.
Yeah.
And hey, the expansion card's here.
Yeah, who knows?
And the entire race is, who's ahead? Because I feel like Toxic was pretty safely ahead up until having to do Rockets there, and now it's very even.
Yeah, it really did just, if Toxic, we still don't... Snowbear's now ahead because of that Chuck play, but I think it was basically even once Toxic was ahead, then he decided to do Rocket Hideout, which is a completely reasonable play. It's not unreasonable, it's just that, unfortunately, it happens to be useless in this case. Somebody saying in chat that checking the boat right now is kind of a low-value play because it's a lot of time for just, a very small amount of checks. It's not that bad
just
because you haven't been to Kanto at all. You have to either take the train or the boat. And Snowbear's just I'll take a little bit of extra time to do the boat, and I'll get that item on the same time as well.
But it does kind of make me think that the Chuck play may have been I think I might be behind. Let me do some checks I think Toxic skipped. Maybe might have been because of that. Ask about that.
It might be that. It might also just be wanting to do things as you are there. Now he'll never have to go fly back to sign whatever again.
That's true. That's very true.
The checks there. There's a lot of reasons to do things.
Yeah, now Snowbear are going to do a lot of the same checks that Toxic has done here, most of them useless. So I guess it really comes down to where Toxic goes next.
Yeah, for Toxic, it's going to be now a question of where is the expansion card, and does he find that Cascade badge on Chuck's wife before he gets that expansion card? Because if he finds that expansion card, that's going to bait him a lot. You know, you're going to go waste your time in West Kanto, and that's not going to be good. I still think it's just going to be expansion card in like Victory Road. Like, we still haven't seen Victory Road yet. I think that's just what it's going to be. But there are still so many random one-off checks that it could be as well. It could be Nugget Bridge, it could be E4, it could be any of the other gym leaders in Kanto that we haven't seen.
Yeah, that's the thing about these is for anyone who's watching that may be new. Yeah, we're at an hour 25. We're basically 1 or 2 items from go mode. But the run could still go to over 2 hours at this point. Yeah. Unlikely, but it could.
Yep,
just because we don't know where it is.
Yeah, we still got the radio tower and Claire after that as well. We've still got 1 item in basement that we haven't seen, because we did saw early basement from Toxic's side. We could still find Cut, and that would unlock some more checks.
Yeah, it does look like Snowbear is going to head to Lavender, do reverse rock tunnel probably, and in that machine part as well. Pretty much just following in Toxic steps here, doing most of the checks in Kanto.
Yeah.
So Toxic has limited time here, kind of, I'm not going to say free time, but limited time here to really hunt for the expansion card before Snowbear really catches up.
Again, we want to see that he wants to see that Cascade badge on Chuck before he gets the expansion card. If he does if he goes and does Janine or something and gets the expansion card before he ever does Chuck, that's bad news for him.
Yeah, that Chuck play was so good. I mean, you know, hindsight's 2020, but that was such a, you know, a coin flip play to decide to check that right then. Yeah. I am really curious what Snowbear's thoughts were there. If it was, now I never have to fly back to Signwood again, or, oh, I think Toxic skipped this, let me check it.
Yeah. There's the card key for Snowbear.
And Toxic going to go check the red scale here, which we know was not required. You get a Pokeball for your efforts. Great job.
Toxic flying to Newbark, it looks like. Okay, this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this before Rocket Hideout, but yeah, now you get to check a couple items here, get the Rising Badge check, and turn in the Mystery Egg, and then you can head towards Victory Road and get all those items.
Snowbear grabbing the Earth Badge there on the machine part check, and now thinking, oh boy, where's the expansion card? Am I behind? Is Toxic on red? What's happening? We're at an hour and 27 minutes.
This type of ROM, I mean, any race you're doing is always stressful because you never know what your opponent is doing, but this type of ROM, especially with how easily you got everything, only missing one thing at an hour 30, the longer it goes on, the longer you worry that your opponent did the one random check that you haven't done yet.
I guess one other crazy thing we haven't touched on in a little while is that Cut still might be required.
Yeah, if it could easily just be you find Cut and then you have to it could be something bad. It could be you find Cut and then you have to go do all of the trainers on Route 25 and it's that Cut locked item up there.
Yeah. At this point, probably, I'm trying to think what the worst possible outcome would be. Maybe Cut on E4 and then expansion card behind Cut.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that
would be quite the troll.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, someone putting a chat E4 Cut card. Yeah. But
yeah, Snowbear definitely with the advantage at this point until Toxic does check Chuck.
Yeah, Snowbear is still grabbing a couple of the checks that Toxic has already done in Kanto. Obviously, we know now none of them are required. So a little bit of time there, but yeah, Toxic is very quickly running out of time. Yeah, IB, from your perspective in your mind, you're Snowbear right now. You have all the badges, no Cut, no expansion card. Are you panicking at this point or what? Because this is just so... I mean, it happens, but This is not a common situation to be put into.
Well, first of all, Snowbear has decided to go straight to Radio Tower. This is a better play for Snowbear because he has not done early basement yet, so he's got the items in Radio Tower and all the items in basement available, which is his highest concentration location at the moment. Toxic is incentivized to avoid this since he did do early basement. But yeah, like I said, for both of these players, when you're missing this few items at this point, like you're saying, you have no idea what's going on. It's always stressful. Races are always stressful near the end, but this early especially so, because you have so many checks that you can do.
Yeah, Toxic deciding to head to Victory Road, check those items, kind of as you alluded to a while ago now. Actually, I say a while ago, it really hasn't been that long. We're only at an hour and a half in.
Also, Toxic, I don't think, has skipped the ledge item. It's, I think Garf has pointed this out multiple times and is upset, as he's right now, that people don't do it. Unless you're planning to get the fly point for Indigo Plateau, it's faster to do everything in Victory Road. Escape Rope, check that item, because you skip hopping some ledges and some extra movement as well. Saves quite a few seconds, actually. So yeah, we'll see Toxic grab this last item, and then Escape Rope, or Dig in this case, and go grab this last item here. Just a little optimization.
And unfortunately, not required.
Yep. For Toxic right now, the worst place that... Oh, is Toxic also heading to Radio Tower? Looks like he is. Alright, so they both are heading to Radio Tower. If this is where expansion card is, then, well, Snowbear just is in go mode.
Yeah, maybe we want to flip back over to Snowbear's audio here. Because I think at this point, they're both doing Radio Tower now. Snowbear is pretty definitively in the lead now. But still a very, very close, especially if the item here is cut, that would very much so shake things up a bit.
Yeah. Honestly, if you're Toxic there, you might have actually wanted to get the fly point there for Victory Road, or for Indigo Plateau, just because without having cut, it might be that in order to get to West Kanto, you're going to have to go all the way back up again. So I actually probably, especially with a main like this, the fight's not difficult. I probably would have fought Rival and grabbed that fly point just to make things easier later. But yeah, just a lot of fights here, and we've got a few items here, and then we'll see if either of them do the false director at this point. Then,
at this point, I kind of feel like you have to, right? I mean, there's one item left at this point. Skipping things is kind of it's kind of scary when you skip something at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, at least in Snowbear's case, when you have one item left.
Right.
Skipping anything is scary.
Every item check could be the last thing he needs.
Yeah.
There it is.
There's the expansion card. Snowbear in go mode. Toxic now. Chuck behind, assuming he finishes out Radio Tower here.
Yeah, this is just it all comes down to just that one check of Snowbear doing Chuck, one being inside, and Toxic choosing not to do it. Toxic would possibly be in the lead right now if he had done Chuck, but it all just comes down to that one check.
And then heading for the Snorlax here to head to West Kanto. We'll see what the Snorlax is. Obviously, we have a pretty good main, but hey, having a good backup would not be a bad idea. And that is a Venonat, I believe? Dodrio.
That's not bad, but we've already got an Electabuzz. I really don't think you need this. But yeah, now Snowbear just flies to Newbark, and yeah, his first time heading this way. He hasn't been towards Victory Road at all yet.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to what Toxic decides to do immediately after Radio Tower, and even then it might be too late.
I mean, yeah, it should be very difficult. Snowbear, has level 60 Electabuzz, has Hypnosis. Toxic's got the same main. If there's any problem on Red, it'll be the same problem for Toxic. Toxic is incentivized, after finishing Radio Tower, what do? You go grab that last item in Basement, and then maybe he decides, oh, I'm gonna do Claire next. It's it's very hard to see Snowbear losing this race at this point. It's all in his hands. Sleep moved with, having Hypnosis to teach should make the fight effectively free.
Yeah, I think the only thing would be like a hard wall. I don't know, maybe that Mewtwo with Earthquake is Red's lead, and you have to main switch in Red's room or something. But short of that happening, I
even
don't see how.
Even then, Toxic would have to do the exact same thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Toxic is going to go fight the False Director, which, makes sense in this case. You're missing one badge. Snowbear Rom odd
Yes,
light was
Snowbear
defeated.
Yeah.
But yep, now we get to access West Kanto via this gate. That guard there gone because we have woken up the Snorlax.
Yeah,
how many minutes ahead is Snowbear? It's hard to say. It all comes down to Toxic could be done 10 minutes from now. He could be done 40 minutes from now. It all depends on when he decides to check Chuck, and he's got so many other things available at the moment.
Yeah, plus there's also, he could do one other random check, get cut.
Yeah, and that would
and then
add even
you
more
now have
time.
more checks. Yeah. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see cut in Mount Silver or something, but there are still several other places it could be.
Yeah, but for Toxic, most likely what you do here is you grab this last item in basement, you go wake up the Snorlax, and then you surf all the way back up again, and then you do all the checks in West Kanto. Before you would ever consider doing Chuck at this point. You just continue with doing the easy things. That's the thing about this type of ROM. Practically everything was either forced or in an easy location, and then it was Chuck. And Snowbear happened to be the one who did that one check that had the one difficult late item, and it paid off.
Yeah, I can't wait to ask Snowbear about that Chuck check after getting the 3 badges there in Whirl. I just say, what was your mentality there? Yeah, for doing Chuck, and did you think? To be Toxic
fair,
skipped it.
Toxic did similar things. Toxic fought Sabrina. No need to fight Sabrina. It really they both did random. That's what you do in this situation. You do a couple random annoying things, and you hope that that's where the last badge is, or you hope that there's a badge there, and that gives you the edge over your opponent.
True. I do think when he checked Sabrina, though, we were still missing several items at that point, whereas once we finished the world check, we were very close to already being done at that point.
No, he had done Whirl Islands before doing Sabrina, so it was a similar situation.
Steelix lead on Red, not immediately threatening, potentially.
It
but
puts
with
us
Sleep
to
Powder,
sleep.
though.
That's our strategy.
Okay.
And Pin Missile. And yeah, this should be free from here, essentially. We've got the X accuracy set up. We're not missing Hypnosis anymore. We're faster. We just burn through the full restores, put it to sleep, and get some free setup. Hard time to imagine anything going wrong here for Snowbear.
Yeah, especially since Toxic is down doing Soft Sand now, which don't believe was required.
No, well, we know where the last thing required is, and it's not on Soft Sand. But yeah, that is going
well, at the very least, we know Cut wasn't on
Snowbear.
Yeah, at the very least, we knew Cut wasn't on Soft Sand, so no bait there. But and the last Mon being a Gyarados,
we got to Thunder Punch it
easy. And that is a GG's to Snowbear with a time of slightly over 1:38.
Very fast time overall. That might be I think that's the second fastest time of the tournament. Yeah. I think all the others were in the 140s. But yeah, which is crazy fast. Welcome, Snowbear, in here for an interview. GG's.
GG's. What
a run.
Was that seed?
Very fast.
So we have to ask the first question while it's still fresh in your mind. You went to Whirl Island, you got 3 badges. You decided to do Chuck pretty much right after instead of skipping it. What was your reasoning behind checking Chuck right then? Did you think Toxic skipped it? Did you think you were behind?
So I thought Toxic most definitely went to basement early, and I was like,
He
you know
did.
what?
That would be correct.
And I was like, look, I'm gonna look and find as many things as I can. Maybe I'll find the card key, and as soon as I get the card key, I'll go right to the basement. But you know, Chuck was there. You know, Chuck's a good check. It's not the worst, but it's still a good amount of things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was not planning on catching the Espeon. I was not planning on catching the 60. But when I saw the 60 was an Elekid, and I was like, you know what, I am probably gonna end. It's gonna probably end soon. I gotta catch it. I saw I had a moveset. Alright, I'm switching to it. And then immediately was those badges. So I was like, oh my god. Thank goodness I did that. I got really nervous because I got the card key really late, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's something in the basement. But then as soon as I got the expansion card, I was like, oh my gosh. I have to admit, in the back of my head, I was trying to beat IB's time. I was like, I might have a chance. I might have a chance. Got to 4 minutes, and then I got the expansion card. I was like, close, but wow. Yeah, I was checking the race time at about an hour 25, assuming that Toxic was probably just ahead of me.
I mean, it just came down to Chuck at the end of the day, which Toxic is actually doing now. He didn't do much in West Kanto.
Oh, he didn't do it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the majority of the race, you were kind of neck and neck or slightly behind within a couple of minutes, and then you decided to check Chuck, and he left Cyanwood. Pretty much right around, or very close to the same time. And my thought for you was, oh, maybe you were thinking, oh, maybe you were behind because we have basically 2 items left to go. And so you decide to say, oh, maybe Toxic skipped this, let me check it.
I think you always feel behind because you have no idea.
About that. I mean, I know I generally feel behind because I know I put myself in a hole, generally at the beginning, because my movement and my movement is not super great, as I still got 500 something bonks, although I consider that a win. Anything under 1,000 is considered a good time for me. But I was just like, I gotta go. I just gotta do this. I was feeling a little kicking myself for, you know, holding off maybe the Kimono Girls, and the Sages I knew was gonna be a tough fight. That's why I didn't want to climb the tower yet. But as soon as I saw the Clear Belt Rainbow Egg, I knew that there wasn't gonna be enough badges for Morty.
Unfortunately for you, Morty was required.
It was required. The 6 badges wasn't enough, but it was just like, oh my gosh. I was actually thinking, like, he's probably ERC skipping. You know, he probably got that off because there was nothing there.
So what Toxic actually, like, did a lot before doing Radio Tower. I think, did he do Whirl Islands before Radio Tower? Or before Rocket Hideout? He might have. I don't know. He did a lot. Like, once he got the Rising Badge on the Shiny, he just went straight to Mortar, which then gave, like, you know, other things, and then he went towards Blackthorn, so for a while he had just skipped that completely, and if he'd kept that up, he could have won off of that alone, but eventually, of course, you do just go do Rocket Hideout, because there's so many things.
When you first get Surf, the first thought I generally have, and what I've learned from most of the seeds is, when you first get Surf, go to Mahogany Rockets. That's generally your thing you need to go through and do, because there's just so many items. It does take a while, but there's just too many items, and I've been punished so many times by not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's talk about the early game. Yeah, let's talk about the early game a little bit, because obviously you had the Jolteon Thunderbolt starter, the Espeon on the Pseudo.
I didn't even think about switching to it.
TMs coming out your ears, like good TMs coming out everyone's ears. There was no difficulty there. Like, were you set on the Jolteon? Like, what was?
Yes, I was set on the Jolteon. Thunderbolt, you're not gonna get better than that. I caught the Espeon just as a backup. I was tempted to run away. Glad I didn't, because it did come into play. Just being able to be level 20. I checked its movesets just in case. But I was pretty set on Jolteon. I did feel really clever about my movement through the forest and then flying back to Azalea, although it felt a little bit less clever when I could have gone to Kenya, turned into Kenya, and then done a little bit more. But I was super happy to have picked up the Razor Leaf and Tutor move, because I was just like, okay, I'm gonna at least check the Tutor move before it's too late. I don't know when I'm gonna get 7 badges.
Yeah.
And it paid off huge.
Yes, it
Because there were
ended
so
up being
many
useful.
times that Razor Leaf was just useful.
Yeah, Toxic actually checked the move tutor and didn't teach Razor Leaf. He kept Dynamic Punch around, maybe for like Blissies or something, but he had a hard time. He had to set up 2 or 3 X specials on the Rhydon on one of the Sages because of that. Because he didn't teach Waterfall and he didn't teach Razor Leaf, so he didn't have anything for it.
Was there any point in the run though, Snowbear, where you were like, oh, like where you thought, oh, I'm definitely ahead, oh, I'm behind, things aren't going well, things are going great? You know, were there any like pivotal moments from your perspective where it kind of changed how you played?
I think just in the back of my mind, I had the 6 badges, and that was that one thing that I thought I might have been. I didn't really think I was ahead or behind. I figured at least I was doing the same thing. But the 6 badges, getting the basement key and Tin Tower, I was like, if there's something in basement, I'm just gonna lose. But I'm gonna do as much as I can elsewise. I just was not expecting, well, to skip, you know, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was definitely something, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know, my whole tracker is just clean. Like, I was thinking though, as soon as I got the machine part and all that stuff, I was like, okay, it's gonna be probably no cut, and I don't want to do any cut checks. I was thinking I was gonna kick myself for not going to Victory Road sooner, but it turns out I didn't need to.
Yeah, we were kind of making the joke there at the end regarding cut. We were like, oh, what if one of them gets cut and that influences their decisions here right at the end, and you know they completely diverge and things go south for one of them. But
yeah,
fortunately,
here's
didn't
a
happen.
question for you, Snowbear. Did you notice anything about the trainer class names?
I did. I was gonna ask, did Ergo delete everything that was those 9 letters?
At Jarvis's request.
I know he did that. I was very sure, and I was gonna ask that, and I didn't. It's just frustrating. I was hoping it wouldn't happen like that, but I did get some amusing laughs when there was back-to-back Snowbear ROM Mel RPGs in Faulkner's gym.
Yeah. Toxic's
Actually,
on red right now. He's actually struggling a little bit because for whatever reason he decided to. Well, at least on the one we're seeing on stream.
Yeah.
He's struggling because for some reason he decided to kill the Celix instead of setting up on it.
Oh,
and Machamp has dig.
And Sword Stance.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, okay, so my thing was, I was like, okay, I outspeed the Steelix, I don't need to risk the sleep turn 1, I can just X accuracy. I was not planning on being put to sleep myself first.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and Toxic finishing up there, still with a very respectable time of 140, just under 147.
Yep.
Very fast
Yeah,
seed,
still
no matter how you look at it.
very fast. That's like, I think, 5th or 6th fastest time in the tournament overall.
Know. I mean, honestly, I'm so close to getting that. I wasn't that close to getting...
It could have happened.
The crown back, but I didn't expect it. It's all rigged. It's okay. It's all rigged. We all know it's because I didn't play Snowbear ROM. Although technically there was another pair of people who didn't play Snowbear ROM, and that was Trickums versus Aruvian, who played an Ergo ROM as well. This was
but we do Toxic. Welcome,
GG Snowbear.
GG's.
Toxic, how do you feel about that one? That was quite the ROM. The Jolteon, the Espeon.
Yeah, you guys both played
3 badges
and overall.
Just took 20 minutes to find that darn Cascade badge.
Oh.
Yes, so that was the big turning point of the run when you both did Whirl, which was only a couple of minutes apart, I believe. You both went to Signwood afterwards after getting the 3 badges in Whirl. Snowbear decided to check Chuck, and then you flew away, and that was the big pivotal moment, I think, of the whole run.
Yeah, because Chuck never has anything.
I mean, I feel like if there's one thing I've learned from this tournament is that Chuck definitely always has something.
Well,
Yeah, because
sometimes he does. Maybe we need a Chuck required percentage.
yeah, I was about to say on the stat sheet. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, but the early Morty checks across the board because of the early Rainbow Wing and Clear Bell, and then obviously a couple things being in 10 Tower. I mean,
No
I think I also
TMs
made a
early.
comment at one point as well. I think Toxic, you ended up teaching over Psychic as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is a good run with mains and TMs if you're teaching over Psychic on your special attacker.
Mhm.
Really
And
look
then
at much
the stupid
TMs.
Machamp had Dig.
I was teaching lots of physical TMs though to my Jolteon. I don't know if you noticed. I taught Wing Attack and Dynamic Punch, and then taught over. It was Razor Wing, then Wing Attack, then Dynamic Punch, and then I just ended up just going full special.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Toxic.
you also took the Jolteon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that
was kind
must
of the
remind
only
though. It was
choice.
trying to be really scary though when it was on Rival. Ooh,
It had Psychic, so yeah.
It did.
But
It was hurt.
It's Mr. Mime.
it still hurts.
Oh,
Actually,
the mine
Mr.
had
Mime is
Psychic? I
very
never
good.
saw that.
Yeah, no, it psychicked me in like Rivals 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
I never saw
couldn't
that.
get
The things
one.
that hurt the worst were the Mewtwo's with Earthquake.
That
think
I
took
lost
me
3 of
4
them.
HP, and I was
You
scared for my
you didn't
life.
see the Snowbear, but Sabrina, I think her ace was a Mewtwo
Yeah,
that
no,
still
it's
had
terrible.
Earthquake.
Yeah, Sabrina was actually very strong. Unfortunately,
Oh my
Toxic was able to
gosh.
run through her, but yeah, it was like Magmar, Mewtwo, and then some other special attacker.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was yeah.
Yeah, I guess for you, Toxic, were there? I'll ask you the same question I asked Snowbear. Were there any points in the run where you thought things are going well, things are going poorly, I'm behind, I'm ahead? Like any key pivotal moments where something happened, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, Whirl Island was the mean pivot. Like, once we got into Tin Tower and we got Fog Badge, I was like, okay, Surf is going to be the next on wall for sure because we have both Waterfall and Whirlpool. So we're going to get Surf first, then get the badges to go everywhere. And then once Whirl had like 4 badges or whatever, then I was like, okay, now I really have to just pick the right area because it's basically go mode at this point.
Yeah.
So it was just a mad rush from once you got done with Whirl Islands. And because of that, I was like, okay, I'll check everything overworld that I can and leave Chuck for now because it's a little bit slower than everything else I could do.
Yeah, not an unreasonable decision. It could have
Mhm.
paid off, but it didn't. The other thing was that Snowbear was talking about was that he thought you probably had done early basement because Snowbear did not do early basement, and if there had been a
Mhm.
badge in basement, you would have had the
Yep.
advantage there.
I know. I was so hoping for it. I was so bummed when there was nothing in basement.
I was kicking myself when there was nothing in Mahogany Rockets. I thought you would also probably ERC skip it.
I did
'cause think
that, yeah.
Your group definitely does a little bit more of that than.
With how
most
many
like.
people have gotten burned on ERC skip this tournament, there was no way I was doing that.
I mean,
I'm telling you
it's-
guys,
it's
the
a 1 in-
strategy.
It's a 1 in 3 win chance at this. 1 in 3 win chance, as far as I know.
The strategy is not to ERC skip. The strategy is to just skip it completely.
Yeah.
And then when you're, because it was completely not required. And Toxic, you did do it a lot later, so you were ahead for a while just off of having not done all over Rocket Hideout. But then obviously you went back for
Yeah,
it because
I mean,
as
it's
you
just
do, you have to at some
there's so
point.
many items in there.
That was my
So-
first bet with Surf. I just went there. I thought about it, just skipping it when we got Rising Badge, but I figured maybe that's what you do. And I was like, you know what? I gotta commit to this.
Yeah, because we got Rising Badge, I decided to skip it. Otherwise, I was just going to run through it with a Jolteon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
same
did
thing for
do a
you,
little
Toxic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Same
go
thing
ahead.
for you. Did you notice anything about the trainer classes?
Yeah, the guy blocking the basement was Toxic Rom Toxic.
Yeah, all
Oh
of
my
all
god! Oh, so
per
really? That was
per
the,
Jarvis's
that's right,
request.
Pokken Nerd. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Per Jarvis's request, Urgate removed all 10 and 11 trainer class names except for Snowbear Rom and Toxic Rom.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's a lot more 11s than 10s. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, which was quite ironic in the end, given how good the ROM actually was.
Right, I called
What?
this
Yeah, 'cause
before.
neither
I
of us
said
made
Yeah.
it.
I called this
One of us made
beforehand.
it.
I said
We
you
would
guys are
still be
gonna
racing.
get a very good ROM.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was honestly a
hoping
little
for
mad when I
more-
saw how good the Jolteon was, because I'm like, what is this? This isn't what
I
I'm
was
used to.
I was hoping for something horribly bad because Ergo was telling me, oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad. Got this.
Oh, if we had gotten an early Spore or Sleep Powder or something, I was planning to switch to the Espeon and run Spore or Dream Eater or something.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I had no.
That's
plans
why I
to
did like a
the-
bunch of loops and all the miscellaneous checks before finally going to Azalea.
Oh,
Because I was like, maybe we can get a sleep TM, but I never got it, so I
I
just
mean, we
stuck with
did.
Jolteon.
there was a hypnosis TM.
That was a
Yeah,
little bit
after I
late.
got 15 badges.
You guys should have. You guys
a
should have
little late
switched
to switch to the Espeon.
No, you switch to the Espeon when you pick up the Psychic TM when you've already like got your level
That was
35.
also really late.
I know that's
That was
that's the
behind
point.
Waterfall?
It was. I think it was
I
just
was-
behind Surf, but yeah, in Mortar.
It was something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of round out here, I kind of like to get people to reflect on things, after they do them, because we obviously all of the runners are their own worst critics. I mentioned that a couple of times during the race, and there are also I know some new people watching in chat that are maybe trying to get into Crystal rando speedrunning themselves, or maybe just less familiar with it. So I'll kind of ask both of you. Are there any things, with hindsight, are there any things you guys wish you had either done differently, things you wish you had done a little better? What are kind of some of your critical takeaways here for each of your runs?
I'll
Wanna
go
go
first.
first,
Right
Mike?
off the bat, if you say yes to mom saving your money, make sure that you already have the Pokegear, so you can just call her back immediately and then have her not save your money.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah,
actually,
well,
I
Oh,
did.
we didn't even
You didn't even notice.
So there's a couple things. So you have to at least, I don't know when exactly she can do it. I think it's after talking to Professor or the Mr. Pokemon. But there is a thing, when you do talk to her, you have to be very careful about that, because you have to say, yes, it's about money, then you have to go down to the change, and then say no.
That's if you go back home. If you
go back
just
home.
call her on
Otherwise,
the
you can call her,
Pokegear,
yeah.
yeah, if you just call her on the Pokegear, she's like, "Hey, is this about your money? Do you want me to save it?" And you just say, "Don't save
I
it."
was hoping you would do a gentleman's agreement to just send everything to mom.
Oh God, no, that'd be awful.
That'd be funny. You just lose a bunch of money.
I was hoping for. I mean, it was for the means, but luckily I was so poor. I kept part of the reason why I didn't even bother for the roamers was because I knew I was on my last repel, and it was
Yeah,
gonna
you were
run out.
you were really rich early on, and so you both did some X item shopping, and then you didn't get any money after that.
Because I didn't sell the PP ups. I actually used them this time
I
because
used
knew
all of them
that
pretty much.
I used a lot of them on the Jolteon.
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
did feel kind of weird, but I guess going
No,
back.
I used them on Thunderbolt as well because that's all I was going to be clicking. I
Pretty
got
much.
lucky, and on Route 30, I caught a Ledian with Dig, so I only had to buy a single escape rope this run.
Oh, nice. I caught a
Mhm.
Gyarados.
So that
and-
saved me a good 6,000, 10,000 or something.
Oh,
And you got to kill an Articuno.
Yeah, I was gonna catch it, and I'm like, it's got enough special defense; it'll live a Thunderbolt, right? But I got an early level.
Not at early levels.
Yeah.
I
I got an early level, so I'll take it.
I think the only regret I had was some of the double dipping and being willing to isolate things. But I think I don't really have regrets in this one. I feel like in this case, the things I had to do were for the levels. Maybe I should have done Kimono Girls a little bit more because the stages were brutal. But
Yeah, that was the
I
only
was-
real difference. Toxic did do the Kimono Girls before Tim.
Yeah,
you
the
didn't,
sages were
but-
real tough. I had to use X items on them. I had to use a
I
max
had to
revive
use
on the last
just max
guy.
revives.
Well,
and
that
revives.
was
Fortunately,
also a thing,
right before the
Toxic.
stages,
Yes,
I think it was
double
Morty
max
gave us 2
revives.
max revives. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
so that was
yeah.
very,
I was
very
very
apt.
I was actually very thankful for that.
I was very nervous because that's always a sign when
Yeah.
We were saying exactly that.
yeah.
You're gonna need them.
Yeah,
but also
no,
Toxic,
I
yeah,
mean-
you struggled on the ride on because you didn't teach Razor Leaf from the move tutor or Waterfall that you had gotten.
For me, it was the
Yeah, I
Fable.
saved
That
before
was
the
double-edging.
sages. Yeah, I saved before the sages, and I was like, if I really need Waterfall to get through something, I'll reset, teach it, and go through again. But I
Yeah.
wanted Surf more so, and 95% of the time I'm going to be clicking Thunderbolt. So I was just like, if I really need it, if there's like a Steelix that I just can't get through, then sure, I'll reset and do it. But I had a feeling I could get through most things with X specials and Crunch and Psybeam.
The Tudor Razor Leaf saved my bacon so much.
I don't
Although
like
I
Razor
got-
Leaf, so that's why I didn't go for it.
Yeah. I mean, I hate it, but it was like I need it because I knew Sandbeam wasn't going to deal with like the ground rock types, and it was basically a catch-all against things like Quagsire. Although I was feeling, I got like as soon as I saw I think it was Clefable double edging. Like the first Pokemon, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be something.
Yeah, right at the start. I had
And then the
immediately
digging
use a
Flaffy
revive.
was rather annoying because it was
Yeah.
taking a while to kill the Espeon, but then I was trying to do other things, but I was glad that I revived the Espeon because I think I needed it one last time. And
Yeah, there were a couple annoying things with Dig this
oh,
round.
it was Wigglytuff. Thank you.
Yeah, Dig, yeah, really made an appearance a lot more often on the enemy Pokemon. And given we were all running electric types the whole run, that was kind of interesting. But yeah, any other final comments from both of our runners here?
GG Toxic. That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
I guess
GG's
this
to
time
both
I
of
get
you.
my crown of still the worst ROM maker at this point.
Yeah,
But
we
I
were
don't know,
definitely.
I think in this case, I think it might be going to you because this was too good of a seed.
Yeah, this is just that you're better at playing the easier ROMs. So
Yeah.
the ROMs that you
Wow.
make are easier on average than mine.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
that,
hey.
that was the caveat. That was the caveat. We'll have to settle this another time.
Yeah, we'll settle in stage 2 when we get there.
This was.
Yeah, well-
I think we just had to throw the book out for this one.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to settle that in the future because we have one more match for round 2 of the 2023 Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer Tournament. Actually, in about 1 hour.
One
with,
more match
Ethan.
in round 2. The way you
Yeah,
said it made
well-
it sound like you're saying one match overall. We still got way more coming.
Oh, I said one match for round 2.
This is one more for round 2. This is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, one more match for round 2. Ethan 26 versus Zan, I believe. Yeah, like I said, coming up in about an hour. After that last match concludes, we'll still have 4 rounds left before the bracket proper off in October. And obviously keep a lookout soon because after that last match of round 2 concludes, we will have the schedule of matches posted for round 3. So as always, thank you to both Snowbear and Toxic for putting on a fantastic showcase for us with that crazy ROM or extreme ROM, if you will. Thank you to IB for co-commentating with me and
Thank you.
and with the great explanations with everything. And as always, thank you to SpeedGaming for allowing us to host these hilariously fun randomizer tournaments here on the channels. So anything else here right at the end? All right. We will go ahead and sign out. Everyone take care of yourselves. We will see you over at the final match of round 2.
See you guys later.